This is the Impressions Exchange Podcast. Where all topics impacting the graphic imaging and printing industry are addressed via in-depth news coverage, analysis, and timely interviews.
Welcome to another episode of the Impressions Exchange Podcast. On this episode, I welcome my colleague, Steph Buka, Government Affairs Manager at Printing United Alliance. We chat about the coalition work that the Alliance is doing, tariff updates, the latest news from the USPS, and the Alliance's birthday letter to America for the 250th anniversary. Stay tuned for our chat. Hey, Steph, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. Always a pleasure.
Yes, always a pleasure. So we did chat earlier this year on some, government advocacy updates and Printing United Alliance. So I wanted to kind of get a half-year update. Where are we? What's going on? I know there are a lot of things changing with the Postal Service, and so I'm excited to kind of hear some things that are going on. So let's start first with coalition work. What's happening with our coalition work?
Yes. So I think it's an area of advocacy that doesn't get a lot of recognition. And so I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that we are always signing letters with our coalition partners. And this helps us amplify our voice. And we help by adding our voice, we're moving the needle on certain policy issues. And these letters, if you go to printing.org, and look at our coalition efforts section, you can see the letters are organized by category. So environmental, health and safety, postal, taxes, trade, et cetera. So I'm going to run through just a couple examples of the coalition work that we're doing. We work closely with the Tariff Reform Coalition and Americans for Free Trade. And basically, we want to eliminate Section 232 tariffs. And I have to be transparent with an article that I wrote that mischaracterized the tariffs. I had reported that there was a reduction from 50% to 25% on aluminum lithographic printing plates. Well, that was incorrect. And I did retract and replaced it with the correct version. So I apologized for any confusion that may have caused. So basically, there were two categories of tariffs. And the first category is on April 2nd, the aluminum lithographic printing plates were removed. And so there was a 0% tariff on them. And then on June 1st, there was a new White House proclamation that instituted a 25% tariff on aluminum lithographic printing plates. The 50% tariff is completely separate, and that has not gone away. So the 50% is on raw aluminum imports. So I just, I take full accountability. And if anyone would like to, read the refreshed article, it's on printing.org. So let me move on. We also are friends with the Recycling Leadership Council. And one of our main things that we're advocating for is passage of the Recycled Materials Attribution Act. And that would eliminate the conflicting state rules and create a national standard for advertising and labeling products that say they have recycled content in them. So it also directs the FTC to update their green guides, which again, it's like a guide to how do you market products with recycled materials. So we are thankful to be working with them. Two other coalitions I wanted to mention, Tomorrow's Workforce Coalition. And right now we are supporting legislation called a Stronger Workforce for America Act. This would reauthorize the WIOA Act, which is Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. So basically it would provide education, CTE, training, grants, apprenticeships. It covers all of that to ensure that we have a strong workforce. So we do support that bill. And finally, the Great American AI Act was recently, it wasn't formally introduced, but it's a bipartisan draft. It's a discussion draft. So this bill would eliminate all of the state AI legislation that has come about, it would preempt the states. And we are working with the National Artificial Intelligence Association on policy calls because we want to ensure that the framework prioritizes innovation, lowers barriers for startups and entrepreneurs, and supports United States competitiveness. So we're very happy to be working with them, and we look forward to the introduction of this bill. We believe that the big people in AI, Google, Anthropic, they are supportive of the bill. So we look forward to working with our coalition partners.
That's great. Lots of updates there. So postal service. I know things have been, changing there. So tell me, what are some updates for the postal service?
Yes. So there's a lot to report on the postal. There was a recent committee on government reform, oversight and government reform, a House committee that met with the postal regulatory commissioners. And one of the commissioners, Ashley Poling, said it's basically a 5-alarm fire. So, and what she said after that, she gave written testimony, but is that we should all come together to preserve this 250-year-old institution that serves like 170 million addresses across the nation. And, we need a reliable, affordable postal service. So that hearing, our coalition partners keep us posted, and the Coalition for a 21st Century Postal Service provided statements for the record. And the statement that basically highlights what 3 principles that are found within the USPS Serves Us Act, which we support. The 3 principles are accessibility, affordability, and accountability. So, in other words, we want to preserve the universal service obligation, keep the 6-day mail delivery, affordability, limit rate hikes to 1 time per year, and accountability. We actually want to strengthen the Postal Regulatory Commission's oversight of the Postal Service. So what's interesting, the Postmaster General, David Steiner, has reported that the Postal Service will run out of money less than a year from now. And they made a request to Congress. Now, here are some of the things in that request. They want to increase their borrowing authority from $34.5 billion from the current $15 billion. They also want to invest assets in private funds, diversify their investments, and they are going to request, they haven't set a number, but for the universal service obligation, they would like an appropriation. So here's what he also says. If those things are not done by Congress, they will be forced to close thousands of post offices. They will have to raise the stamp price possibly to 95 cents. I've heard as high as $1.14, but the recent reports say 95 cents, and they would have to eliminate days of delivery.
Wow.
So so they're putting political pressure on Congress. And they also have even considered eliminating the Postal Regulatory Commission, which we strongly oppose because we feel they need strong oversight at this point in time. And we also believe that the Postal Regulatory Commission has been a great consumer advocate for the public. They're the ones that review the price increases and everything. So I think that it remains to be seen how that will play out in Congress. No member of Congress has introduced a relief package yet. So there is a Senate hearing next Wednesday, June 24th. And this hearing Postmaster General Steiner will appear before the Senate hearing, and we will be following that. And there will be another statement for the record from, I know C21 Coalition for 21st Century Postals has drafted a statement for the record. So, so we're just right now waiting to see what happens. In general, they're facing a $9 billion loss. And we agree it's urgent, and we do need to, come up with a plan. But we also have to remember that they're mandated. It's a government agency mandated to deliver mail 6 times a week. And so I just read an article about the fact that people in rural communities, like if they're not getting their medications, it's a health impact on people that maybe if service is delayed or not running, then those people aren't getting their medicines. And that's very impactful for people. So I think that's about it on postal. Oh, in July 12th, the price will increase. So on a first class mail stamp, it will go from 78 cents to 82 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always they keep increasing the rates, and so it pushes more mail volume down, pushes it out of the system. And so we want to work with Congress, and we support the USPS Serves Us Act, but it remains to be seen how going forward, how that's going to happen.
Printing United Expo is where the entire printing industry unites under one roof. Explore cutting-edge technology from over 800 exhibitors, see live product demonstrations, and discover solutions that can transform your business. With exclusive education sessions, expert insights, and endless networking opportunities, this is the must-attend event for anyone in print. No matter your role, Printing United Expo delivers the innovation, connections, and knowledge to help you stay ahead. Join us this September 23rd to the 25th in Las Vegas. Learn more at printingunited.com and experience the future of print today.
I know you mentioned, obviously, if someone has medication and they're in a rural area and they can't, there isn't mail delivery 6 days a week. What would be some of the impacts you talked about with, what would happen if there isn't some sort of relief package? What would be the broader kind of implications of that across the printing industry, for people in homes, and like what would be some of those impacts?
So if what Steiner is saying, if that were to come to fruition, that would have a huge impact on the printing industry and Americans across the nation. If you're closing thousands of post offices, you're raising rates so it's not even affordable for people anymore, and you're eliminating days of delivery, again, that's impacting, 170 million people, that would not be, again, we need an affordable, reliable postal service. So, and we depend on the USPS. It's a key delivery channel for us. And so I think the implications would be huge. So we should be concerned, but I don't know. I think here's the key takeaway. We want Congress to be involved, but we don't want them to write a blank check. We want those guardrails to be in place. So if they're going to provide financial relief, okay, but we want the oversight, and we want them to be accountable and live within your means. And so that's basically, where we're coming from.
Right.
But we're happy to be at the table at these conversations. I should have mentioned, there's a postal caucus that was formed last year, and Art from C21 attended that caucus along with Marie Clark from EMA, Envelope Manufacturers Association. So we have great partners that are advocating, for an affordable, reliable postal service, and we're happy to be part of the conversation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I can see so many, implications, not even just on a personal level, but,
Mhm.
for marketers, for brands. I mean, not
Yes.
sending out as much direct mail,
Direct
which then of
mail.
course
Mhm.
impacts the printers because their volumes are going
Yeah.
down. I mean, there's
So
just there's such,
they're not having revenue. Yeah, their
Mhm.
revenue's decreasing and
Yeah.
it just trickles
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Trickles down. Yeah. Well, great. I know you mentioned it's the 250th this year, and also I believe that there is a birthday letter to America, right? So can you tell me
Yes.
what is it?
Yes.
Why is it everything?
Yes, we are so excited. We are pleased to join the Together for 250 campaign, which is established by the Business for America Coalition. And it's a nonpartisan group. Again, it's a coalition that believes that businesses have something to say and can be leaders, thought leaders for their employees and communities. And so Ford Bowers, CEO of Printing United Alliance, wrote the birthday letter to America to feature the importance of printing in our history, which it's undeniable. Benjamin Franklin, the first printer, we have a long history. And so we have joined over 100 organizations to write letters to reflect a shared conviction that American business has something hopeful to say and meaningful. And at this moment in history, this is just a great time to reflect and then look forward to the next 250 years. So to read the letter, we did post it on printing.org, but you can also visit the Together for 250 website, which has a list of all the partners. So I'm going to say what that website is. It's tf250.us/partners. And there's a map of the United States, and you can see if you look in the Philadelphia area, click on the dot, and it will say Printing United Alliance, and you can read the letter there. So we're thrilled to recognize our contributions to America. And July 4th is when the actual birthday is. So yeah, so we're just thrilled. We're thrilled to it is important. It's an important milestone, and we're happy to be a part of the conversation.
Of course, yeah. And in Philadelphia, it's a
Yes.
very important city in
Yes.
in the history of,
Liberty Bell.
yeah,
Yeah.
the history of the US. So that's great. I will include links to everything we talked about today, but also to that website so people can explore it on their own. Steph,
Okay.
thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me today and keeping us updated on government affairs and advocacy from the Alliance.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
I want to thank Steph for joining me on today's show, and of course, all of you, our listeners. In the description below, you will find links to the items mentioned in today's episode. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Impressions Exchange podcast.